steal the land. Someone who always can. Don't you know?
Oh, yes, it's time for that Monday Night Delights What's Up Flobo After Hours, the Knicks award-winning show for best on-camera talent. It's that guy. I want to give a big shout out to everyone watching now on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. And if you're on that Twitch, drop me a follow. I need to get my numbers up. Of course, this show is not even on the radar. Wouldn't be a possibility with members of the Boisterous crew. That's what we call our Patreon subscribers. Those people who put their money up to support your homie every month. So I really want to give a shout out to each and every single one of them, like Christopher C, Christy H, ACH, Edric P, Oliver E, Princess Leia, Matthew C, John W, Richard R. You make this show a reality. Now, I'm sitting here in my apartment wearing this dope Melbourne City shirt because my guest comes all the way from down under. Or is it Oz? I have no idea. Which was the cool way of saying it? Because, you know, I'm from New York and everyone says the Big Apple. We don't really do that. Totally give the topic. My guest is a voiceover artist, is a comedian, is an advocate for mental health, and he does so many things. We're going to talk about each and every single one of those things right now. Please welcome Mr. Ben Sorensen.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Now, how amazing is your shirt there? A-League.
Yeah. Come on today.
I actually did some work with the guys from A-League ages ago, and it was really fascinating because I've walked in there and I've gone, oh my God, I love soccer, and they've gone, not soccer. Not soccer. We call it football here.
What's the big deal? If people call it soccer or football or football, like what's the big deal?
Do you know what? It's about the game, and I get it. Totally get that. But I think the big thing for them is they're going, no, we call it football. And I said, what do you call that other thing? Hand egg? Or like, you know, what is it? But football actually makes logical sense to call it that. It's just culturally we've gone, no, that's soccer and that's football. And it's very, very English.
They're just different names for things. I've never heard of an American person go to London and be like, it's not sweet biscuits, it's cookies. We don't do that. It's a name for whatever. Big deal. Live and live.
Yeah, or chips and crisps.
Oh, crisps are, I will never. No, I will not. because potato crisps sounds like they're making me lose weight. You know what I'm saying? I'm having a crisp.
Yeah. They're the low-fat ones, the crisps.
Right, the crisps.
Yeah, because every time you hear a crunch, calories are released.
Right. It's like celery. You know what I'm saying? It's actually more as said.
It's like celery with salt and processing and taste.
That's why the modern innovations of science, right? Forget fruits and vegetables. We got crisps.
But celery was traditionally grown by some of the early humans, and studies have proven this and a heap of other things, that it was originally grown as nature's peanut butter spoon.
Oh, yes.
So it's to balance out the calories from the peanut butter.
I used to date a girl that would eat celery without anything on it but salt, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Not at all.
No. Yeah. You've upgraded since, and that's good.
Whatever about food and crisps and all that. Look, you do a lot of things, and I need to, I guess, ask you to help me do some of my own work. How do you describe yourself? Yeah. Because there's a lot of slashes next to your name, a lot of things that you do.
Look, sir. Look, there is. I call that full utilization of asset. Have brain, will do stuff. And most of my life is about feeding the gray cells inside my head.
Ooh.
And I do that through a huge list of things that sound like it's a lot, but I don't think it's really that much. So I write some columns. Unusually, as a white guy, I have a lot of opinions. So...
and no one was to listen to them, and nobody was to give white guys any platform.
I know. I'm so oppressed.
Right.
So I write a lot of columns. I do a lot of voiceovers for radio and TV ads, which is voice stuff, a lot of radio and interviews and stuff like this, and some video and film work as well. So it's all about just sharing the personality and the journey that I'm on with anyone who's willing to listen. And you know, I have a passion for science, so I really enjoy science and research and evidence-based things, and I also really enjoy being an advocate for, you know, mental health and for autism and for, you know, equity, equality, and justice for everyone, because I think that's when we truly do have a fabulous society, is when we remove all of those impediments so that we can hear and experience and be connect with all those wonderful stories.
Oh, absolutely. And the chat is with you already. Look, JLJ Media says, love him. Mark is saying, I love how Ben has a perfect narrator voice. Ooh. Do you do you prefer narration work, or are you kind of more of like a character voice actor?
I love narrating stuff. And particularly if they let me do my thing with it, so then I can put weird inflections to change the meaning of sentences. So quite like that. And I've just worked out where the chat thing is here, and it's wonderful. A Texan fan there. I am. Oh, and this is just saying, David there. Am I from Australia or New Zealand? You can't tell.
How dare you offend him? No, I'm just kidding. No, he's shaking his head at you, David. Run.
So David, this is a fair question. This is normally what I say when I travel to your neck of the woods. So when I travel to the States, when I'm sober, I say I'm Australian. And when I'm drunk and poorly behaved, I say I'm from New Zealand.
I don't think they appreciate that. You can't do that.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
I can't go to Australia and be drunk and be like, I'm Canadian. That's not cool.
No. No, it's not. It's not. You're polite enough to be Canadian.
You're right. I can be.
It's I find it really interesting because in Australia we have a playful relationship with our neighbour New Zealand, and we are always roasting each other in the most beautiful, loving way. Although that hasn't happened particularly much lately, because as an Australian, we really like their Prime Minister. We like their Prime Minister more than ours. So we're kind of like, yeah, we're going to give you a hard time, but could we maybe share your Prime Minister for a bit, maybe?
As somebody who, one, doesn't live there, and two, did very well in geography, it always tripped me out how your flags were similar. Like, that has to be a point of contention. Like, New Zealanders are like, hey, it's not right that our flag looks like your flag. It's like Cuba, Puerto Rico all over again.
So let me shed some light on that. Not too bright, just a little bit of light right there. So we are part of the British Commonwealth, and a lot of the Commonwealth flags, apart from Canada, are very, very similar. So Australia and New Zealand's flag both feature the Union Jack in the corner, which is Great Britain's flag. So that's the link between us. Although a lot of us are going, yeah, Queen's really cool, that's awesome and stuff, but what does she do?
Yeah, exactly. It's well, my parents are from Barbados, and they just voted to become a republic.
Oh yeah, you know all about that. Yeah.
So they're going to be a republic in November next month, actually. So
yeah, and you've got. Did I not see in the news you've got just a really fantastic female president that's
coming
guiding.
Soon,
yeah, that's going to guide the country through all of that. Wow, what a role, and what a human as well.
Yeah, the queen is like, hey, the sun never sets on our empire. Anyone? Anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That is kind of cool that you're able to break it down for us slow Americans, what's going on halfway across the world. But I got to ask you, as someone who's watching it from where I'm standing and what you're working on, like, how do you break down your form of entertainment? I've seen you do stand-up sometimes. I've seen you doing like trivia stuff sometimes. Like, well, I want that brain. I book you. How do you describe your art form?
Look, I love making sure that every show is different. So when I go out on stage, when I do stuff, it's about first and foremost keeping me entertained, and then everyone else is welcome to go along for the ride. And that's the important thing, is having people along for the ride. So when I create stuff, I always have, when I get clients come to me with a brief, they go, hey, I want this. Most of the jobs that I get are a little bit different because I love custom creating something magical for everyone. So, we've got immersive themed shows that we do. We as in me and my team, which is fantastic. I ended up getting a production company as well. So we do, staging, backdrops, cinema stuff, fireworks, like everything. And we like to create our own shows internally so that we can make them different. And that's with the live shows. We're doing online streaming stuff for corporates. We're doing heaps of things. And it's all about how I can use my brain. So selling it, I just go, do you want to laugh? Do you want to be entertained by witty intelligence? Do you want someone to roast you constantly in a loving way in front of all of your co-workers? Then yeah, sure, give me money. I should just say, brain for hire will do stuff for money.
There's no deck. It's just you saying, "Hey, you want to insult you for 2 hours? Give me money." That's
yeah, totally. That's pretty. Book, do it now. Yeah.
So you had mentioned a little bit of the back and forth of live entertainment events and virtual stuff. I know with the events of 2020, the pandemic and all that, has to be a little bit of a challenge going from one to others. What's been your experience?
So for us, it was 2020 and 2021. In Melbourne, we only just got out of lockdown last week.
You guys were ahead for so long. What happened? You guys were like in the leaves. Like, look at Australia. They're good. Their prime minister's young. She's spry. Like what? Look,
the problem, we had a couple of problems. So when Alpha was we got a lot of problems. When Alpha was going through, we knocked that and we went, yep, perfect. We are now COVID free. Isn't that awesome? And our prime minister, we call him Scotty from marketing.
Yes.
Yeah, not Scott Morrison for those of you playing.
I totally confused him with the New Zealand Prime Minister. I apologize.
Totally cool. She's a good one. He was sort of a bit hazy on actually having quarantine facilities or actually having vaccines. So he forgot to order the vaccines and refused to do quarantine, which is how we ended up with Delta in our country. And it's been a bit of a battle since then. And there's been some very poor messaging and information out there from the government around vaccines and vaccine safety and vaccine availability. So, this is turning into a bit of a dark news segment, but
I'm enjoying this.
Short answer is Scotty stuffed up. And because of that, the only tool we had left to keep people safe was lockdown, because he had taken all of the other options away from us. So, yeah. So, a bit sad. On the upside, I've watched everything on Netflix. So, I feel like I'm getting better value out of my Netflix subscription. And now, even though we can go outside, like last weekend, I've had the whole weekend. I went, oh, that was a really good weekend. And then on Monday morning, it sort of dawned on me, and I've gone, I could have gone outside. We're not in lockdown anymore. What's that about?
Yeah.
So, so we're all like forgetting that we can go outside and do stuff as normal. And we see on the news that you guys in New York are doing okay there. You got shows opening up. You've got you're going outside, which is wonderful, because we were all quite concerned early on that one of our favorite places on the planet, New York, might be in a bit of struggle town. But as always, you guys are resilient, as are hopefully Melburnians here, and we'll eventually get back to it.
So even though I was born in New York, I live in Los Angeles now, which was another city I had a problem. My parents still live in New York, and it was kind of weird for them because my mom is immunocompromised and the big deal. But for those of you who are watching for this the first time, and this is your first introduction to Australian culture, you can actually Google Scotty from marketing, and the Prime Minister shows up. That is awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about it.
So the funny thing behind that is before he was Prime Minister, he was head of Tourism Australia, and he got sacked from Tourism Australia for being shit at his job. So then they promoted him, and he ended up being Prime Minister. So that's why we call him Scotty from marketing, because he literally was from marketing. So remember the Australian slogan, "Where the bloody hell are you?" That was the with Lara Bingle, or was on the ads in a bikini saying, "Oh, where the bloody hell are you? Come to Australia." That was his campaign, and we've reused that quite a few times during the time that he has been Prime Minister. So we had the fires in January where 50% of the country was literally burning. And Scotty from marketing went, "Do you know what? I'm going to take some me time. Let's go to Hawaii for a holiday." So for the whole time of his holiday, we went hashtag Scotty from marketing, hashtag where the bloody hell are you? Because we know here in Australia, when there's a real problem, when it's something that's really serious, Prime Minister will be on holidays.
Oh, you know what? Going on holidays
Totally runs away.
Yeah, running away when the people need you and failing up is actually pretty much an American story. So congratulations, man. I'm so glad you got your own American politician.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's funny because Scotty can be bought and sold as well. So, you know.
I love it. Dave's marketing department folks in it for the money. Who is it? You know?
I was going to say, I just saw that from David, and that is absolutely correct. Yeah. So it's funny because you can tell all the big decisions and you go, "Oh, there must be a Liberal Party donor somewhere there." But or a lobbyist somewhere that's made that happen. So yeah, you are absolutely right, David. Well done.
Were you always a performer, or did you have a lightning rod moment where you're like, "No, I got to use my brain for this cash," or were you just like, was it a decision for you?
Look, I think it sort of went hand in hand accidentally with the autism, because I originally had a problems with social skills and communication and stuff like that. So I thought, how can I make that better? So I made my special area of interest, or my focus, communication. So then what I did was, how do I practice my communication by doing media and the arts and writing and all sorts of stuff like that. So then I just ended up doing that. And it's been a wonderful journey ever since. And I think I've massaged my role that I've created for myself in life to sort of work with my brain and my neurology, very similar to yourself with the streaming show and all the other great stuff that you do as well. So, you know, one must be brave enough to create the world for themselves that works for them.
How long ago was that when you said full on brain mode?
Actually, do you know what? I've had a couple of moments where I've gone, like it's been the last, 15, 20 years or so that I've been doing full-time entertainment and full-time media stuff. I've had other side projects like, funnily enough, marketing strategist and and doing some other media-related back-end work.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally. It's been a while, but I think it's been more the last 2 years that I've sort of gone, do you know what? I feel like this is what I'm going to do until the day that I die. So yeah. So I'll be doing this for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I don't know how to say that. You put this button on. I'm like, well, good for you. I hope you get to do it.
Nice.
So you had mentioned the longest pandemic lockdown of all time. Did you pick up any hobbies when you were locked in your house, or did you?
Oh my God, I did. Drinking, that was one that started early in the pandemic. Drinking. Also, look. In hindsight, if I had have done anything differently in the pandemic, I probably would have ordered a better couch, knowing that I was spending so much time on it.
Fair.
Yeah, so you'd spend a lot of time in front of the TV. I also took up a hobby, cross-stitching, crafty cross-stitchy stuff, and I like that because it helps me get my frustration out, because I can stab something a million times and not go to jail.
Okay, put it that way. So we should all cross-stitch.
Good, yeah. Needlework is amazing.
Yeah.
So much fun. And I can also... There's a little underground, probably not so underground community. It's called of naughty cross stitches. So it's like subversive cross stitch or badass cross stitch. And basically they take the traditional cross stitch concept of making art, and then they cross-stitch naughty words into it, or
Oh yes, that I know.
yeah. So loving that, big fan of that. So yeah, that's been keeping me going through lockdown because I can do that inside.
Do you make it just for yourself, or do you sell it, or like what's been the thing? Is it like the process, or?
Look, you're assuming that I've finished something.
Yes, I am. I'm so sorry. Rescinded.
That's a big assumption. Big assumption. So I'm currently in the stabby stage, not the finished stage. So
Right.
no. So I've done a couple of little ones for friends and for little humans in the family, which is good. And I'm looking at creating some bigger ones, and hopefully a cross stitch collection that we can display in art galleries and stuff like that. So that's good.
Here's my question then. When those things you pick up during the pandemic, you drop it now it's over, or you try to incorporate it into your life? Is it now become part of your life now?
I think we're all changed courtesy of the pandemic. And
Right.
look, I think I'll cross stitch just at a much slower rate because I'm now able to go outside and do things that are not at home. So
Right.
So I really feel sorry for people who have decided to buy a 1-bedroom apartment, going, yeah, I live my life out. I'm just gonna go to have dinners out and lunches out and go away for weekends and stuff like that, and then going, no, you're locked in your 1-bedroom apartment, you tight ass. You should have bought a 2-bedroom.
So, been there. Let's answer this question from David here. He says, in the States, I fiend for peanut butter slab chocolate bars. My aunt from Melbourne sends me bars now and then. Is it an American food product you wish you had out there?
Do you know what? I know that if you talk to the right people, there is an underground Twinkie community, and
What?
I know Twinkie. I know that has 2 meanings, but I'm talking about the food stuff.
Jesus.
And the Twinkies ship quite well because they never go off ever, and they can withstand anything. I did not understand how resilient your little Twinkie bar things are, and then how delightfully tasty they are as well. They're lovely. So we have a couple of places that sell them. The biggest thing, the American food that I wish we had here, which people claim to have here, but it is absolutely not even close to the same, is a buttermilk fried chicken.
Oh, yes. And it's a very regional thing too. Yeah.
Oh, totally. We have places that do fried chicken or American style fried chicken here, and I'm just like, nah. I went to as a guest of CMA for the Country Music Week. I was over there in Nashville, and the chicken there just changed my life. And I remember it probably wasn't even the best chicken that Nashville had to offer. It came out of a truck on the side of the road, and I mean the chicken was cooked. I mean it's a proper food truck, not just a random truck where there's chicken and you go, oh yeah, sure, that sounds nice. I'm going to be
I'm in America. Why not?
Bit of taste. Yeah, why not?
Food here.
So they had waffles and the buttermilk chicken, and then it had some was it maple syrup or something over the top, and I've just gone, just stuff this in my arteries and let me die here. I love it.
That's the American way, man. I just love the fact that we just learned so many things about that. Yeah, chicken and waffles, man. Once you try it, it's a very unique taste. Yeah.
And it's also I put buttermilk, like a proper deep south buttermilk chicken, fried chicken stuff is the same or in the same category as Guinness. So when you go to the Guinness Storehouse in Ireland and you have Guinness on tap at the Guinness Storehouse or anywhere in Ireland, you go, this is amazing. And you go back to your country and you drink it and you go, this is not the same. What is this? Why did it looks the same? It is not.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
Does it go the
Very
other way?
frustrating.
Do we have like a Australian style Vegemite that just pisses you off because it's not the same? Like, I don't know. Is there a flip side to it?
Look, Vegemite is the Australian equivalent of your Twinkie bars. It lasts forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
And it is actually made from beer, which is the most Australian thing ever. It is a byproduct of the beer making process. So, and that's why we feed it to children to prepare them for drinking beer as an adult.
Nice.
Not true. Please don't fact check that. So we send, you guys get a lot of Foster's beer, which is Australian beer over there.
Right.
You've got a distributor in the States that takes a lot of Foster's.
Yeah.
And everyone overseas when I was traveling went, oh, Foster's, that's an Australian beer. And I've gone, yes, we export it because nobody bloody drinks it in Australia.
Yeah,
So
I believe that.
So you can buy it at some of the big alcohol barn places where we buy our booze. But, you know, is it on tap at a pub? No, not at all. Nowhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all you. That's our gift to you.
They came at the right time. It was the late 80s. Everyone had Crocodile Dundee fever, and the commercials were like Australian for beer. And that's when we were like, oh, yeah, cool, we'll do it. Because you don't know this, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the country or the continent or the island. I really wanted to go. So I was like, oh, yeah, when I get to grow up, I would love to have Foster's. Till you had it. You're like, ugh, this is terrible. No wonder it's $2 a glass.
Yeah, David, I think we've evolved a little bit, and we've actually called it fermented yak's piss.
Just for those in the audio version, David says every Aussie I ever drank with calls our beer cat piss. Fair enough. But yeah, that's one of the cool things.
Although, you know what? If I want a light beer and I'm having like pizza or something, Budweiser, which we have here, is that's okay. It's a very middle of the road beer. We still have Miller's, and we got Miller's with what is it? Miller's with lime or something. And I've gone, if your beer is that bad that you need to add lime before I've even opened it,
I blame the college kids.
Know.
When I was like, I always tell the story for those who heard the story before, forgive me, but when I was in Dominican Republic, I was just hanging out for a graduation present. I went to a bar and I ordered a Miller Lite, and it cost me like $14, the equivalent of. And I was like, what the hell? And the guy there goes, I'm sorry, man, it's imported from America, so you pay more. I was like, oh my God. So I know the feeling. It's just the worst.
Yeah, totally. And I was going to say the other thing that I quite like that we have here. So the American chocolate brands are starting to get onto our shelves as well. Those Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, bloody hell, they're all right. Where have they been all my life?
I actually felt it was pretty late. I learned last week that 100 grand is called a Choquito in Australia. It blew my mind. I totally blew my mind.
Oh, I didn't know that either. I know that we got names for all our casino chips, and we call but that's apparent. Just so for everyone playing at home, casino chips are not legal tender in Australia.
Right.
It's not like we're a gambling nation. But yeah, we've got very, very colourful money here, unlike you guys. And we have a $50 note, which is called a pineapple because it is a yellowy colour. Yeah. And we have a beautiful $100 note that is green. And what do we I can't even remember what we call that. It's a green apple or something. Yeah. But we have little names, and we have a $20 note is orange color, so we call it a lobster. And yeah, so we have all these weird names that are totally unrelated to things.
The more you know.
Yeah, and everything's got a weird nickname. So speaking Australian is very different to speaking English, just like speaking American is simplified English.
Yeah. A friend of mine told me that there's different connotations for the same words, like pissed means different, like means something completely different.
Yeah. So I had a friend of mine that's a musician, really, really nice guy, has his, this is my favorite American story that he ever told me. So he went over to America, musician, was playing after a gig, had a bit to drink, and anyway, the police have pulled him over, and they've gone, oh, what's wrong? And he's gone, sorry, mate, I've had a bit to drink. I'm just a bit pissed, so it's fine. And the cop has gone, you're what? And he's gone, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I'm just a bit pissed. It's fine. And they've gone, that, yeah, and it took him a while to work out that meant something different.
Yeah.
So he ended up sleeping the night in one of the police station lockup things to sleep it off, because he was a angry Australian when instead he was just a placid drunk Australian. So yeah,
I love it. Well, let's talk about travels, man. You said you were to Nashville with your work. I mean, as a performer, where have you been and where do you want to go?
Look, so I went to the States in my country music days for the CMA week, and what an absolute journey that was. So I spent probably a week in LA, and did a couple of days in Santa Monica, then across to Nashville for the fun and festivities there. It was just fabulous. And I love how similar our cultures are, but how very different we are as well.
Yeah.
And that's, and I think that everything in the States is, it feels like it's sort of grander or bigger. And I think that comes from having 350 million people there speaking English as well. It's a really great market to sell to and market to, as we were talking before, compared to Australia, which is 26 million. So yeah. So I've enjoyed that. I spent a lot of time in Germany as well, mainly because I like the beer and food. And I also love the history as well, which is so important for me. And Ireland, I've done a couple of shows in Ireland. Weirdly, I did a wedding in Ireland, of all things. So I did some comedy shows and I did some trivia shows and stuff like that. And then there was a couple from Australia that came to my shows here, and they went, "Hey, do you want to come and MC our wedding?" And I went, "Sure, why not?" And thinking they probably wouldn't follow up, and they did. And they've gone, "By the way, it's in Ireland. It's in Ireland." And I went, "Oh, sure."
Here are my rates.
Here's me. I get on a plane off to Ireland, and they did it properly. It was like a week and a half, 2-week journey, and they had activities planned every day, and we went all over the place, and it was such a wild ride, and it was amazing. So I'm always up for adventures like that. So if anyone wants me to come and do anything entertainment-wise anywhere, I'm bang up for it. I reckon it's great. It was great fun.
If I get my own talk show, I should be my intro guy. Please welcome.
Yay! I can do that. Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, traveling's so wonderful, and most of the travel that I do is as you guys would in the States. Most of the travel is around the same country that you're in. So I do a lot of used to do a lot of domestic travel. So Australia's got one of the busiest air routes ever, and that's between Sydney and Melbourne. So it's one of the busiest routes in the world, which is why there's flights every half hour between the two cities, and it's only like an hour and a half flight. Yeah. But 3 hours once you go through security. Fair. And it's So I was doing a whole heap of flying like that, doing events everywhere, and it's just really wonderful because you learn that how much, and you sit there as you're waiting for your flight in the lounge, working out how much time you've actually spent in the air. And when you look at it, you go, that's like my second home up there. And you spend so much time at an airport that I knew every single airport lounge in Australia really, really well. And I knew their menus. So I knew, it's a Tuesday, so I might want to get there a bit early because it's pie night, or it's, we're going to have, we got that nice stir fry that they do. So maybe I'll go early. You know? And that's just the world. And a couple of years ago, I'd have be in hotels like 100, 150 nights a year, and you'd always have a hotel breakfast, and that'd be a little world. So look, traveling's really, really great, and if you can afford to travel like a princess, that's like even better.
It's very similar to because I live in LA now, and like Vegas, right? I'll do shows in Vegas, and it's a 4.5 hour drive from my house, but an hour flight. But security and driving to the airport and checking in, and just kind of like, screw it. Yeah, I was gonna get the road. You know what I mean? I'll totally do that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I have a
we
question.
don't have. Oh yeah,
Sorry?
I was
No,
going to say
sorry.
we don't have anything like Vegas here.
Oh yeah, I feel like when it comes to like if America had like destination cities as far as like getting married, it's like L.A., Vegas, and New York. Like, those three cities, people go. I want to see what America is. Those are the big three, and they're not really an accurate depiction of the United States, but it's feel like they're okay to be like, bam, you know. But yeah. I have one question because we talked about it on my archives. Real quick, I went back to your old videos, your country music days, your real country series, which I really enjoyed. I had a question because, you know, what in the Keith Urban is this? Is country music an obsession down there, or is it like posers too? Do people wear their cowboy boots to the office? Do they wear their 10-gallon hats when they're filling up their trucks? How does that work?
It's really interesting. So when you look at American country music, you see quite clearly that it is a fashion statement, and there's a lot of poses there. And we don't have so much of that here. We have legit hardcore jackaroos and gillaroos, which are like the equivalent of our actual cowboys and cowgirl/women. And they are super, super tough. They are the toughest, most amazing people you'll ever meet. And they get around in their boots, jeans, and shirt, and they've normally got an old Akubra hat, which is a little bit different. So it's made, the Akubra hats are made of rabbit pelt put together. So they're quite warm to wear, but they last forever. And yeah, so they. So there's not too many poses. Sometimes if you go to a country festival, everyone will don shiny boots that have never seen dirt and brand new sparkly hats, but not so much day-to-day posing. Although there has been some times in my life where I've just got jeans and my Ariat boots on, and I'll just cruise around to the office or to meetings in that, and everyone will go, "Ooh, boots, what's that about?" And we go, "That's me. That's me attempting to flex."
Yes, when you say attempted to flex, that's, you know, you nailed it. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah. I don't see you have boots like that.
I only wear for Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I'm from Brooklyn, man. Dude, if I did anything like that, I would feel opposing myself. I wouldn't leave my house. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's a country music is a broad church, and it's a very interesting community to be part of, because there's lots of different factions within that community, and there's always the heated debate, which is what is country and what isn't. I don't really care as long as you like it and it's fun. It's pretty inclusive in my world. And as far as outfits go, over the last 10, 15 years, we've seen them all. Long tassels, the Diamante crystal things, and the boots, and all sorts of stuff. You know, not many people do it properly, because if you were doing it properly, you'd ride a horse. Right. And you would you'd ride a horse to a music concert with a hat and a whip and nice, you'd do it properly.
Right.
Yeah, don't just go, I've got some boots and here's a hat and I've got a little skirt. No.
Yeah.
You want to have a proper saddle. You want spurs. You want a horse. You want possibly a posse of humans behind you. You want to, like, level up.
Do I rent this festival horse? Do I put an order in for a festival horse for me to ride? Is that how?
That's a great idea. That's a new side hustle. We could do festival horses.
Yeah, I love it.
and then at the festival, when it rains, we'll have to give everyone ponies then and just say they shrunk.
Right. It's like a switch. Look over there and swap them out.
Look over there. Switch it out. Yeah, there you go. I think that's a great idea. I'm just going to write that down.
Yeah, go ahead. You had mentioned in other interviews that you are an advocate for mental health, and we touched upon that a little bit earlier in this interview. But let me know, what's something that people tend to miss about the gravity of what you are trying to do day to day?
Oh, look, I think people miss the ability to honestly and openly self-assess. And I think that's where a lot of our problems in society come from, is collectively we are so busy and so caught up with the material world and with inconsequential dramas that it's almost a deliberate ploy to avoid us talking about ourselves and how we feel and what we think and what's happening in our world. We are trying to be connected but numb at the same time.
Right.
And
Right.
look for our joy outside of ourselves. And I think that one thing that we can do is to try and be brave, be kind, and try to listen to ourselves. And the first stage is going, okay, what do I feel? How do I feel? What makes me feel good? What doesn't make me feel good? Why do those things make me feel good or bad?
Yeah.
You know, and working with that over time means that you're a far more aware individual, which provides you with more knowledge, more information, and more power to make better decisions. And if you choose to go and see a therapist, which I suggest everybody does because the world's totally messed up, and there's some really great skills that a good therapist can teach you, that we're not organically taught or don't always pick up. Being self-aware means you get better value out of your therapy sessions rather than them trying to break down your walls. You walk in with the walls down and you're working as a team together. Because if I don't know what it's like in the States, but therapy's not cheap here. And yeah, and if you need the first 5 or 6 or 7 sessions before you can build a proper rapport or trust with a therapist, then
right. I think you froze a bit. That is a freeze frame and a half. Well, we're still here live here on What's Up Flobo After Hours, and I guess I was about to say my follow-up question was really about how important it is to go out there and make sure if you have kind of any issues with your own mental health, to go speak with anyone. Wait, I think you're back, Ben. Ben, you're back. I think you're muted though. You're unmuted. Welcome back. Now you're muted. Now I can hear a word you're saying. It's live TV, man. It's not TV. It's live second screen. You're in a glass case of emotion. You're in the Phantom Zone. It's like Superman 78 or it's person. I know, Dave. Yeah, you know what? That's it. It's the algorithm, man. Like YouTube knew that Ben was telling us so much truth. And they're like, no, stop it. Go back to Vegemite. That's exactly what happened. But I think as he's working himself back, I just want to say there were some times when I had my own rough situations mentally, and I have yet to go to therapy. I do recommend it, though. My issue is really more of like finding someone I was comfortable with quite yet. But I do think that self-assessment is super important for that time. And so I'm going to ask Ben if you can hear me. Let me know what you think. I think he's almost back. I can see him. Maybe he's going for a drop. So anyway, that's a problem with live TV, man. That is definitely the problem with live TV. Yeah, if you had cue cards like a Wile E. Coyote. What's Up Flobo After Hours? As I said, thank you so much for rocking with the show. We still have some time left this hour, but like I said last week, it's official. You got to check out the 22nd of November, 2021. We're having ourselves the best party ever, the best going away party. Ben, you back? Oh, you're muted still. You're muted. You're actually muted in the app. Oh, no, now you're muted. Yeah, you're still muted. Yeah, you know what? Hey, things happen. Technology, baby. Like it's natural. Like we're all here, we're telling jokes. You're just in a silent glass case of emotion. All right. Well, you know what? I think that if we can't work this out, wait, I hear a sound. This could be it. Ben? Oh, I was so close. I do want to hear a word. Okay. Yes. So Michelle Mabel, yeah, I think as Ben works on his microphone real quick, I do think therapy is supposed to be a good idea for everyone, regardless of the person having an issue. You gotta find different options. Sometimes people like teletherapy. Some people like going to a real person, group therapy, that sort of thing. Physical therapy is different. Sure is. And Ben just dropped. All right, cool, man. Well, usually I'll do a game with our guest, but I'm going to give him 30 seconds to see if he comes back here. For those of you on the audio version of What's Up Flobo After Hours, what happened is our guest decided to have little technical issues. That's what happens with technology. Ben, you back? Ben?
No, am I back? I should be back. This is terrible. I'm so
He's
sorry.
back. He's back.
Yay! That's a fun thing.
I'm sorry, man. I was saying, hey, man, the YouTube algorithm just said otherwise and just kicked you off. No, it'll be frozen again. I think, yeah, we're so close. We're so close to the end of the show. All right, well, it happens, man. I think this is beyond like, because like he's active. I can't hear him what he's saying at all. All right, well, we'll talk about that next time. Let me know if you wanted me to do something else. Wait. Last call, Ben. Can I hear you?
I know. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
In case I miss you, I love you all. Thank you for having. Saying nice things.
Yeah, I hear you. I think, you know what it sounds like? I don't know if you can hear me, but it sounds like, hey, I just want to say, man, last thing, I love you all. And then I can't hear anything else you say. But we'll talk about it after the show. Wait, I can hear you saying no. It's just like this weird thing. Hey, look.
It's terrible. Look, I'm so sorry. We only, as an Australian country, we spent hundreds and millions on everything there. Can you hear now? Is that better?
It's going. It's going. And
for a second, the algorithm is me. Michelle, you are absolutely correct.
Well, look, I'll just wrap the show. We'll talk afterwards. All right. I want to thank Ben for being on the show. Episode 67 of What's Up Flobo After Hours. Unfortunately, due to technology, we didn't get the game in there, but it's okay. Next week, we'll be back with Brandon Harris on episode 68. Do yourself a favor, check out the show, learn more about the show at flobito.com. That's FLOBITO.com. And well, until next time, After Hours is closed, baby.
The baddest in the land.